I think FX people are born, some people really enjoy FX risk management and the challenges. My journey began as a graduate of college. I started working as a junior trader in a small merchant bank here in Dublin. Being small, it was quite good in that you got to experience all the different products, spot, forward, swaps, even money markets and bond markets. So you got a good understanding of how all the different markets interact. So I was there for a few years and did a lot around specializing in forward FX risk management. I left there to join Hewlett Packard, and that's where I started my kind of corporate FX journey. I was with HP for a number of years in Dublin, managing the treasury function in their captive bank. So managing all the lease assets around Europe in terms of funding and the currency risk associated with it. Then I moved to Palo Alto with HP as well, and I ended up managing their global balance sheet exposure for all their global legal entities. So that was, at the time, HP was a very large company, over $120 billion in revenue. So we got to see a lot of different types of risk and lots of different opportunities to improve the process when I was there. When I left HP, returned back to Ireland, I worked in Pfizer. Still had some interaction with the FX risk management, not as directly, but saw a different approach to balance sheet hedging in Pfizer. And it was following an acquisition. There was a spreadsheet error that led to an income statement result. And Pfizer brought in vendors to see how they could improve their process. And I quickly recognized that the approach that we took in HP was far superior to what was available in the market. And, out of that realization, Atlas FX was born once I teamed up with John O'Donoghue and Scott Milter, and we set about creating Atlas FX very much from a practitioner's point of view. So taking all the learnings we had and all the mistakes that we made in the past and bringing that into a SaaS-based FX risk management solution. So what was the biggest point of failure on an FX program that I worked on? Well, we had a spreadsheet that we called the Beast because it had so many tabs and so many lookups and formulas, and was built by one person. And when that person moved on, nobody fully understood the Beast. Ultimately, the Beast broke down, and we ended up with a significant error in our program, right? So the key learning there is you can't have all the knowledge in one person's periphery, that knowledge has to be shared. And, having a key man risk like that is detrimental to a program. Obviously, removing the Excel risk is one thing, but you still need to have the knowledge of the program spread throughout the team so that you can have that business continuity when needed, when somebody moves on to a new role or isn't available to complete the program in a particular month. Yeah, the kind of turning point for me in terms of, identifying that the process that we had was broken. I remember the day vividly. It was a Friday morning, San Francisco time, and we had an extremely large trade to do that was well beyond the realms of what we normally had. And it was probably just around pre-mobile phone time, and we couldn't contact the person who had submitted the forecast. So we had to make a call on whether we trade this huge amount. And even though we thought it was an error on the forecast submission, but ultimately we traded the full amount. Then on Monday morning, when we made contact, we had to rewind and unwind the trade and trade the opposite direction. In the process, we made a multi-million-dollar gain, which was just pure luck, right? So, luck or hope is not a strategy. We always say you can't rely on processes that are, if you're not getting the information on time. So that was the inflection point where we said, okay, the process is broken. Having decentralized data sources and using Excel as a tool to run a multi-billion-dollar balance sheet exposure was just not the answer. So that was the time that we changed technology, centralized the entire process, and broke the process down into easier pieces and a better forecasting model, which led ultimately to a far superior results and analytics and everything that we wanted to do.